we should not be afraid of data. And the MS4 sector sometimes is afraid of like, oh God, if you measure it, I might get stuck with it. I might get stuck with it. The flip side of that is if you don't measure it, then how do you know you're making progress? And how do you adapt to new progress?
You mentioned something really key there is that facts are friendly even if they stink, right? So
right.
Even if you get started because then you have a baseline, right? I had a CEO a long time ago. He said, the facts are friendly even when they stink. He used a different word for it, but I mean that's the thing. Like you could see yourself in lack of analysis paralysis, just taking that first step to say, let's just get that initial understanding of our assets, just a baseline, and then say, okay, if this isn't what good looks like, well, it gives us at least that starting point, right? And that's what sometimes I sense people just don't know. It's like, well, if you're going to keep revving your engine, you're never going to get anywhere, right? And that's the challenge that I see in the space and place for these guys.
And Michelle, as you're out talking to permit holders every day, is anyone's data ready? Is there such a thing?
I would argue no. Yeah, I mean, it's.
But not as a criticism, just that's the nature of it, right?
Yeah, that's just the nature of the game. And as these data standards develop, as technology develops, yeah, your data is gonna change over time. And I think Esri, GIS, Second Nature, we all have easy platforms for you to get started with adding inventory, doing your assessments, and we can always update and improve your data set as we move forward using these tools.
Yeah, it's such a good point. And I would say, just as a closing thought on this topic, that part of the nature of data never being really ready is because it's always evolving, right? It's always being added to. And so part of minimizing data risk is realizing that improved data integrity often comes from everyone's point, start someplace and then just make the data better as you go, right? And that's how we move the needle. And the inverse also applies, which is if you don't really address kind of what you're collecting and how you're collecting and you're just kind of adding to your data integrity decreases in those types of circumstances. So